when it comes to like a wedding, man, like I feel like I always ask these questions like, how do you want to celebrate your love? That's how I like to ask my couple. And it's not saying like, what is your wedding like? It's like, how do you want to celebrate it? So it expand their boundaries a little bit.
Hello and welcome to the Love Launch Podcast. This is Joey Chandler, and this is where I talk to experts and entrepreneurs and entertainers about what love means to them and how we can all have more of it in our lives. And today, I'm talking with a gentleman who I saw his family photography, and I love his just general energy. He's Sam. I'm going to mess it up. I'm so sorry.
You're good, man.
Sansudsavat. You pronounce it for me. Help me out.
You're good, man. I mean, like, you did pretty good. I will say that that's better than my average amount of people.
Sorry. Sam is from, he's a wedding photographer, an elopement photographer. He specializes in, he's from Phoenix. He has this amazing story. And so I wanted him to come on because I think actually a wedding photographer talking about what love means is just an interesting perspective, because that's the spot where love ideally is at your most. And of course, we know that sometimes it doesn't always work out.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Sam, welcome so much. And before we hear from you about what love means to you, give us a little more background, because I kind of butchered your introduction there.
Yeah, you're good, man.
Help us know a little bit more about who you are.
Yeah, so my name is Sansudsavat. I was born and raised in Thailand for 15 years. Then my parents decided to send me to America for better education. So came out here to Washington State, did high school and a little bit of college, decided education wasn't really my thing. I don't know why, but joined the military as a medic and stayed there for one full contract. That's why I'm with my wife, or my ex-wife now. And we moved back to Wisconsin because that's where she's from. Stayed there for another 2.5 years, and then kind of realized that like we don't have as much similar values that we thought we had, or we changed as people. So we went our separate way. I moved to Phoenix because it's something that's it's a place I always wanted to go to, and just been a wedding photographer ever since.
That's amazing. And so I have to ask, you're sitting there taking the photos. And they're going through the, until death do us part and all of those conversations. Mm-hmm. And you've had your own separation and divorce.
Yeah.
What's that like in those moments? Talk to me about that.
It's weird because sometimes I heard some of my colleagues that went through separation as well. And then they have this disconnect of their values and the jobs that they do, because, you're a wedding photographer. You're supposed to be the expert in capturing love story, right? But again, it's not always work out that way. But the way that I think about it, man, is that I don't really bring my story into my job per se, because at least as a wedding photographer, you're just a guy there. You're not really the hero. So when I see them say I do or whatever, I just have so much I'm just so happy for them, man. Regardless of what happened in my life, seeing them coming together, it's super cool. And just because I was divorced or whatever, doesn't mean I lost hope in love and marriage and stuff like that. But my story is a little bit different though. When you think of divorce, you think of she takes half of my shit and my kids and all that stuff. But I got married, I got lucky, and I actually was married to a really amazing woman.
That's awesome. I'm actually in the same boat, going through separation, and we're working through it in a positive way, I think, in a healthy way. It's not easy, of course, but it is. So I just want to put it out there. It is possible to go through a divorce and to separate.
What do you call it? It's my age group that's usually doesn't happen. I feel people in my age group just right away, they just crash on each other, because I'm still really young. I don't know what I'm doing. So.
Well, I'm curious though, as a wedding photographer, you mentioned the idea of hope and love. And how does hope and love kind of intermix for you?
It's me personally.
Yeah.
Oh man, that used to be, I used to think that hope and love was just something that's kind of connected all the time. Oh, if you have enough hope, your love will be just fine or whatever. this doesn't really something I believe anymore. I really think that compatibility is really important, and how you like pick the right partner is important. Don't really believe in like the one, but I definitely believe that there are some people that are better suited for your life than others, you know?
Absolutely. We were talking before we got on about the importance of actually talking about this and how it's just not a conversation that we normally have. It's something that I'm trying to promote through this podcast, the idea of talking about what love means to us. And I definitely want to hear about your couples, but to get started, what does love mean to you?
This is a hard question. I've been thinking about this for a while. It's hard because I don't have a lot of experience on this. But man, someone that makes me feel, I would say like, well, like at peace would be a good word for it. Yeah, man, it's hard to put like a single word or a sentence on it. It's just love. It's not just a feeling per se. I don't think, because that thing just kind of fade. I think that kind of goes closely with like passion. But yeah, man, I'm still learning, dude. Like I don't know. That's like really.
Well, we were also talking about how so much of what we learn about love is from movies and magazines and
True.
fairy tales and all of that kind of stuff. What is your interpretation of all of those things? Because yes, you're young, but like you said, you've been thinking about this stuff for a while, and you're
Yeah.
engaged in love all the time.
Okay.
Like, through your so
Gotcha.
so I'm guessing there's a little bit more there, and push a little bit. What like for you, just like what does it mean to have love, be loved, to show love, all that kind of stuff?
I think security is like a good one to kind of brings up too, because like when you mentioned, fairy tales and Hollywood movies, and that's like the only source of like, like love that I kind of like know. Like, oh, you met someone you really like you lock eyes and it's magical, right? It's like sparks fly and there's a bomb going off behind you and you just walk toward each other in slow motions. But yeah, man, I would say I thought that was love for a little bit, and definitely fell into that pitfall. Definitely thinks that like now you have to be more quote unquote like picky, not picky, but like strategic when you go about love. Because at least in like the Western culture, in where I grew up from, love can be a dangerous thing as well. Versus like in the Western world, it's a little bit more like glamorized, right? Like, oh, you love each other, you get married. But on the Eastern culture, I think there's still a little bit of it, not as much now, where love is a little bit more of like a drug, like it's strategic. Like, be careful, don't fall in love too fast, because that's going to lead you to like emotional decision making. So pick your partner wisely, and I feel like there's some truth to that as well. Like, you have to be more. We're not talking like about like, oh, status, right? I'm talking about like what's their personality like how do you communicate love? Is it like easy for you and your partner to go back and forth? And your lifestyle is huge, man. That's part of the big reason why my last marriage didn't work out, because we have a massive different lifestyle choices or lifestyle goal, essentially.
Do you think you could have discussed that ahead of time? Did you know that I guess there's two questions. One, did you know the lifestyle that you wanted to have when you got married? And could you have discussed that to, I'm not saying not to get married, but to maybe avoid, or at least being able to address it?
Gotcha. Okay. So we kind of discussed it a little bit, like, hey, but man, the 22-year-old me, when I said discuss, I just meant like, do you like to travel? Like, yeah, I like to travel. Yeah, married.
It's like pass the catch up. Do you like to travel?
Vividly remember asking her,
we
hey,
had this.
Travel. You want to go travel the world? And she's like, yeah. And that was like, you know what? Maybe this girl is really cool. But then I realized down the line, everybody loves to travel. And I'm like, this is not a good idea.
Right.
Looking back at it. However,
I was going to say, that's so interesting. The idea of like, I thought I had a conversation.
Yeah.
But also it points to like, you may not have realized how important that was to you. like what travel actually meant. Like we both said we'd like to travel,
Yeah,
but there were different definitions of what traveling meant.
exactly. Funny story. Before, so I was in the military, and for me to go propose to her, I have to fly back to Wisconsin. Sorry. I had to fly back to Wisconsin and essentially like take a low leave, like a week, right? So I need like a permission from my officer. So I went to the officer, like in my unit, and like, hey, I'm, trying to go back to Wisconsin and get like proposed to like my girl, and he just like dead look at me. He's like, "Son, don't do it." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Son, I've been." He called me San because my last name is Sansudsavat, and we call each other my last name, and my last name is too long. So he's like, "Son, I've been through this road before, man. Like I've been divorced twice. I know exactly how you're feeling right now." And that was kind of like, yeah, but this could be different. I don't know. And it could work out. And like that's what I thought too. And him and his like, other officer was talking a little bit about like signing my paperwork. And at the end of the conversation, he was saying, sometimes the man's gonna learn his own mistakes. It's not something you can like talk him through it. And we really remember like, what if it doesn't work out? I thought about it. What if it doesn't work out? Would I still go for it? Like, you know what? Yeah, sure, I'll go for it. I don't know if that was a dumb mistake or whatever, but I kind of like take life hits on it. Just like, I'm just gonna jump to the unknown. Lily never lived with this girl before, only met her like twice, essentially. So like met her once when she was on vacations and went on one date, just been talking. Second was she came to visit me, and we spent about like 3-4 days together. And then the next time, and then the third time that we hang out we're like in Wisconsin, where I went in, and then like a few days later I proposed. It was like looking back at it now, man, it's like, what the fuck are you doing?
I'm like looking at I'm looking at your title here, Fearless Elopement. So clearly you there's some consistency there
Yeah,
in
a
terms
little bit,
of
a
those
little bit.
bold steps.
I didn't mean to swear. I don't know if like my podcast you
It's
can't,
all
or
good.
I'm trying to kind of tone it down with bad habits from the military.
That's great. Oh, there's a whole ton of story. We can go there, but I actually want to get back to your photography, because your photography is gorgeous.
Thank you.
It's really beautiful. Really, I like the expansive, lots of light and air and space, and I really love those and really appreciate, because those are not easy photos to capture. And I'm wondering, what does being a wedding photographer, an elopement photographer, what has that taught you about love?
So I have different perspective on weddings. Are we talking weddings specifically, and how it relate to love?
You choose. You lead the conversation with that.
Okay. So like, as a wedding photographer, and like how you look at love, it's like I want all my couple to just like go like have these memories and like craft an experience where when they look back at it, they remember like this moment, right? And then the love that they have for each other. And that's essentially like their job is like you capture that moment. Obviously, you're not in control of like what happened afterward, but I secretly hope that like, they stay together. Part of being a wedding photographer, at least the way that I like to manage, or like the way that I like to what do you call it? Operate the business, is I want to make sure my couple experience come up first. There was an incredible, interesting statistic about weddings. They said the more expensive your weddings, the more likely that you're gonna get the divorce. You heard about that?
I hadn't heard that stat.
I read it somewhere. It's been a while. I'm not sure the statistic has changed, but that's what drawn me toward elopement as well, because elopements are very, very small. They're usually just two people, or just two people and a few family, but they're very intentional. So a couple tend to be more like emotional toward each other, and you can definitely feel like the love that they have from each other way more. And when it comes to big weddings, there's so much like spiel going on, and like, so I heard some couples say, I can't I can't wait for this to be over. And that was kind of like, dude, it's your wedding. Like, you be more like excited about this whole day? Like, can't believe it's to be over. Like, that's a little bit like, yeah.
Yeah, weddings are stressful, and there's so much going on, and they're so oftentimes, especially on a larger wedding, they're so not about the couple.
Yeah, there's a saying, weddings for the guests, honeymoons for the couple. I despise that term. So
how interesting. And so I love that about elopements, because I've done photographed a few like city hall weddings. Here in San Francisco. The city hall wedding is gorgeous. It's beautiful.
Gotcha.
If you ever have a chance to photograph it,
like a little city hall in Wisconsin.
no, it's this beautiful, beautiful building. Some of the most amazing photos, incredible light, just wonderful. And they're handful of people, and they're always really fun, because you can really craft it for that person.
Yes, 100%.
And how did you start to get into the kind of the elopement stuff, and how did you start to see this idea that there's a love, it allowed for a different expression of love rather than a kind of traditional wedding?
Well, it was because I love to go on hikes and like being outdoors and stuff like that. And the type of couple that love to go on hikes and being outdoors, are the type of couple that like to elope. And I kind of see that being a trend in the market as well, especially COVID. You can't have big weddings, so people just kind of turn toward this like smaller, more intentional way of getting married. And a lot of couple that got elope are proportionally happier with their day than people who actually got like big weddings, because it's just so much less stress. They get to be with their partner instead of with their guests all the time. Doesn't mean that you don't gonna have a good time. Sorry. Doesn't mean that you're not gonna have a good time on your big weddings. It's just people don't think about that. People don't think that there's a different options out there. And I feel like some people that fall into that trap of big weddings and they spend a lot of money on it, it put a strain in their relationship afterward, because some people still gotta pay that off. And that's what I think caused that statistic of like the more expensive the wedding, the more likely that you're gonna get a divorce come from, which is like, the financial stress, which is another big thing, is that like, like I can love you as much as I want to love you, but like if financially we're not compatible, it's going to be really hard to put a strain on a relationship.
Oh, that's so interesting. I love the thought around it. In terms of love, it makes me really think about, and we talked a little bit about this, the idea of figuring out what love means to you. Like for some people, the big fairy tale wedding, like that's the only wedding they have to have that.
Yeah.
And you're probably going to say, awesome, great. I'm probably not your photographer.
There's nothing wrong with that at all, man. Like 100%, like you go.
But for the person that is, wait a minute, I actually would love to get. I saw a photo of a couple on top of a van on your website, and you're like, we travel. I want to have a van. I want my two best friends and our family out in some beautiful vista, and that speaks to them. But again, that comes back to understanding what love means to the individual person and really kind of doing that work first, and then trying to craft a wedding that is a reflection of that.
Yeah, it's like you think of like this fairy tale Hollywood love story is the same thing as like big weddings, right? Like big weddings is equal like Hollywood fairy tales, and then there's something in between. So you still can have that like traditional wedding stuff, but you don't have to always do the ceremony in church, or you can do it somewhere else. You don't always have to have a reception in a reception hall. If you want to do like a backyard type of like hangout style, you can definitely do that. So I mean, when it comes to like a wedding, man, like I feel like I always ask these questions, like, how do you want to celebrate your love? That's how I like to ask my couple. And it's not saying like, what's your wedding like? It's like, how do you want to celebrate it? So it expand their boundaries a little bit. So it's like, oh, it's not just a wedding. It's like, how do we want to celebrate our loves? So I have a couple in California. They're doing a 1 month long road trip in their van as like a way to like celebrate their love. And then they're gonna dedicate that 1 week for like the wedding shenanigans, like the ceremony, the photo shoots, the receptions, and that's essentially like because they love travel so much and they love being outdoors. So that's how they want to do it.
Oh, that's great. That's how I'm curious because weddings can be so stressful, no matter how no matter how size, whatever it is. What are some of your suggestions, tips, tricks to help a couple stay present to their love during the potential chaos of a wedding?
Depends. Well, proportionally, it's going to be harder the bigger the wedding, right? You have more variations of things going wrong. Like in a big wedding, when you have 10 caterers, maybe one of them can screw it up or whatever, and that's like might throw you off. Or this one, like 10 out of your 100 friends that show up might cause some problems. There's always that more possibility. So I would say you have to be very intentional about your wedding and have like a lot of plan up front. This is why a planner can be great. So like plan ahead and don't overdo what you think you can handle, essentially. You have to be extremely selfish on your wedding day, because automatically when you are having a big wedding, it's like, how do I take care of my guests? So you have to be extremely selfish on your like wedding, especially traditional weddings, to be like, okay, this is gonna go great. And then on your wedding day, like everything is gonna be pretty much like out of your control. Like things are happening. You just gotta take in the moment, and hopefully you have some like your people that surround you is doing everything they can to like make sure the experience is great. That's why I'm always trying to make sure that like when the couple hire me, like they don't have to worry about photograph at all. Like they can have the great experience, and like everything will be captured in a way that's authentic to them. That's like my main thing. And again, if you decided like you thought about it, you sit with your partner, you're like, maybe wedding isn't my thing because I really think about it. We're really being really selfish about it. Maybe you have a different relationship with your parents, that doesn't mean you have to like invite them. Like it's your wedding. It's how do you want to celebrate it? So you want to elope with just you two, go for it. You can just totally do that. And I would say, yeah, just being selfish is like, I know it sounds like a weird advice, but being selfish with how you want to celebrate your love is probably my biggest one.
Oh, I love that. It's actually so important. And it's so true. If you aren't selfish in demanding what you want for love, you may not get it. It's said all the time. Love is selfless. It's about, and yes, there is a big component. You obviously want to take care of your wedding guests on 100%. A wedding day, no matter if there are 2 people or 200. You want them to have a great experience. Yeah. And part of them having a great experience is you having a great experience. So it's also that I think that's really beautiful. The idea of like, no, be selfish. And maybe we all could be more selfish in our love in terms of, like, talking about travel, right? Like, no, I want this type of travel. Like this is, I'm talking travel all over. We're not talking like once every year. We're talking every weekend type of travel. And expressing that is selfish in a way, but necessary.
I would say, man, for sure. There was a time in my life where I wasn't happy with myself. I do not love myself at all. Like I look at myself and like, I just don't like who I am. And that's a time where I was the most selfless. I always put other people's needs before me, like all the time. I never like take care of myself or like my own like stuff. Wasn't until like, after like college and like going into the military where I started to become more selfish about like what I want and like taking care of myself. And then in that moment, like I started like, because I took care of myself, I love myself more. I'm like, oh, this is nice. This feels good. I feel really good. Like I want to give it back. It doesn't come from that like, oh, I just want to make sure you feel good in a way where like, it's different now. Like when now that I give love back, it feels different than when I was like the pre-high school me.
That's amazing. I was curious, are you dating anyone? Are you in a relationship now?
I'm seeing someone right now,
okay.
because like I was divorced doesn't mean that I don't believe that like there's someone really cool out there, I'm just not trying to fall into that rabbit hole or like there's this one person in my life that's going to complete me essentially. I feel like there's 7 billion people on this earth, and you're bound to find someone that like, or a few people that can like complement your life in a beautiful way.
Yeah, and you can be, and the idea of figuring out who you are, so you can be selfish in the relationship, so that you can then you have more to give to the person.
Yeah, like if you're so selfless in your relationship, right, and then you're gonna then your compatibility expand from like just a few hundred to like hundreds of thousand, because anybody can give love in a way where like yeah, take it, but like just only a few selection of people that will love you, like 100% love you, um like the like who you are essentially. So like just you got to be selfish a little bit and do what you love and love yourself, like love who you are. And I think that's what attract the people who like those qualities in you.
That's interesting, because sometimes we don't even love ourselves.
It's rough out there, man. I mean, like it's hard.
It's tough. Oh, this is so great. Well, this has been a great conversation. Just a couple things that I always ask towards the end. Are there any books, movies, anything you're watching that kind of triggers the romantic side of you?
Yeah, man. I've been kind of out of touch with my romantic side for a little bit. um, I don't think I have. I don't think I have any movies or books right now. But definitely, this is weird. But like, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson was a good book for me to read. And that's kind of like put me in perspective of like, hey, I can do anything to like make me love myself more. Um, and then like on dating, like there's a book that he wrote called Models, which is a great book that talks about like datings and like how men can like love and honestly, essentially, that can be a good partner through honesty and vulnerability. I can't say that word. Vulnerability.
Vulnerability.
Yeah, that one.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Match.com did a study, I think it came out in the fall, that said emotional intelligence is now more attractive than physical intelligence.
Oh wow, really?
That was the study. Now, I sometimes I question if that actually translates to reality. Do people? Because I think we still go for looks a certain
Yeah.
degree,
The
but no
first,
matter what, the desire for emotional intelligence and the recognition for emotional intelligence is rising.
yeah, because I feel like we're kind of past that point where, you know, the cougars out there is going to come destroy our, farms, and we got to fight them off.
Right.
Yeah.
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 And I talk about how that I feel like the game of dating, and not just dating, but men and women and what it means to be masculine, feminine, all of that is, let's just say, in transition big time right now. And so it's like we're playing sports, and all of a sudden we're playing football, and all of a sudden the size of the field and the shape of the ball and the penalties and what it means to score, those have all changed, and we're like battling back and forth trying to figure it out, and it's really frustrating.
I do feel like though that even though like the field of the football might change, the size of the football might change, the rules, like the number of people that plays might change or whatever. The goal is still the same, is like to like score a touchdown essentially. And I think that like when it comes to dating, it's, like the game might change, whatever, but you still want to have that connection with somebody, and regardless of like how you want to do it, that's the goal.
Well, I agree, and I think we have to talk about that, because sometimes what connection means is kind of like the travel conversation. Like what I mean by connection may not be what she means by connection.
Oh, that's an interesting way to look at it, man.
And it's just the idea, and I think you're 100%. And I think actually that it can lead to a conversation, but it can also present a problem if we're assuming that what I want is what they want, and it may be very similar, and ideally you're overlapping. But I talk to people about love all the time now, and the definition of what love is just different. People have different definitions.
Well, you have a lot of like, like obviously you have a lot more life experience than I do. Like, what is your definition of love?
So for me, my purpose is around people loving their life. And for me, love is about courage and connection and creativity and contribution and community.
Gotcha. So just kind of go beyond that, like romantic kind of love, eh?
The way I look at it, I call those things pillars. And those are my 5 pillars of what love is. And what I do is I look in any relationship, I can see where those things are present or where they're not. Like, am I being courageous in a conversation? Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. Or can I bring creativity to this relationship?
Gotcha.
Can contribution. Am I contributing to them, or are they contributing to me?
Mm-hmm.
And no, not all five are rarely present at the same time, but it just gives me a foundation of how to
Work on.
just kind of explore, and how can I elevate my sense of love, loving myself and loving other people, in the moment, or in a certain time. This podcast was I started doing these interviews because I want to have more connection around love. And I'm like, what does that actually mean to people? So this is where I ideally get creative. It allows for some contribution.
I feel like some people are like a little bit out of touch with their love though. And that's going to be really challenging for some people, because I think some of my friends they're just very career focused. They just don't really have like, but again, like now that you said that, I kind of think of it differently, because I used to always think of like love, it's just been like, or relationship and dating, right? But it can also mean a lot of things, like maybe like the love you have for yourself and your passion and your community, and like your pets, I guess.
Well, even for your business, I'm getting some feedback. Did you shift the microphone? Did it?
Getting better.
Is that better? Yeah, there we go. There's something got in the way there. Let's see here. So the idea is even like the love of your clients. Like you want your clients to love you.
Yeah.
And to love the experience and to love each other. So you're thinking, or you could be thinking, how can I create a space? How can I create an experience from the time that they hear about me through the time that my marketing, to we have that sit down, to they hire me, to the photos, to when I deliver the album, or whatever your deliverables are, that they are experiencing love. And that would drive your conversation in different ways.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I like doing, leaning more toward. It's that like more tailored experience. So instead of like just like, hey, this is my pricing, if you like it, cool, I'll show up, I'll take your photo, and here's your photos. I'm definitely way more like on hands with my couple. Usually by the time it's on your wedding day, like I get to know them really well. And just because the way I do business, I actually made more friends from my business than actually going out in real life.
I imagine.
Weird.
Well, man. Yeah, and that's my whole idea, is that who we are is love or joy or happiness. You figure out who you are at your core, and then how can you make more of that part of your life? And I think you just end up getting more grounded.
Yeah. The idea of love is like, you ever thought about love as like a finite idea, or like that kind of stuff?
I don't think so. Because you can give this a try, and I invite anybody to give this a try. Just have a conversation with someone and say, hey, what does love mean to you?
Okay.
And how can we have more of that? Just ask people that conversation, and you'll see that there is as far as I can tell, an infinite number. And love is one of those things that we think about, we have in the back of our head through the movies and the fairy tales and the whatevers, but we don't spend much time talking about it and putting it to words. And there's a difference between thinking about a photo and then actually creating it and taking it.
Yeah.
In that process, and when you put what love means to you in words, it means more, because you'll stumble with it.
Yeah.
And you'll have to clarify it. You'll have to get
the third part that you said about love is really intriguing to me, because like I don't thought about courage like love. Like, but if you don't have courage to love, you will never experience love, essentially.
You never ask the girl out.
Yeah. So like if I never said like, you know what, sir, I'm gonna go anyway and just propose to this girl, I would probably never learn what it's like to be in a relationship, and like how to manage healthy relationships and anything like that. Because we had a really good relationship, but we learned a lot. So like now forward, like I have that experience, and then I kind of know how to like communicate love, and that courageous part really speaks to me, man. That's really cool.
Yeah. And that's all it is. That's what these conversations are, the ideas that we can learn. And so I was in these calls with just asking you, what are you taking away from this call? Because I want everyone thinking like, what does love mean to me as a listener? And I'm curious, what are you taking away from this call that you might be able to use going forward, do you
think? Well, I mean, I really like the last part. It really sticks to me, the whole courage part. It kind of shifted my paradigm a little bit, put me in perspective like, okay, well, I think there are definitely some room for me to grow where I've been a little bit lacking. Like I wasn't as courageous as I used to be. when it comes to like love, not just in the relationship aspect, but like maybe my friendship aspect, my family aspect as well, and myself. Like I should be more courageous to take the first step instead of waiting for someone to, like text me first, like, hey, how you doing? Maybe I should be the one that like, hey man, how you doing? Like, hey mom, hey dad, just want to check on you, see how you doing. Or like, instead of waiting for good things to happen to me, I'll just like go out and make shit happen. So I would say the courage part, man, it's a great way to go about it too. Like, love and courage is kind of, it's nice. You're so good, man.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm definitely going to take away the idea of a wedding as a expression and celebration of your love, having that as the core, and then creating the experience from that. Because I don't think that is a conversation that people have very much. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, man. 100%. There's a lot of people who got married for like the wrong reason, or like didn't do it right, and now they're kind of paying the price a little bit. So I hope to like talk to as many couples as I can and kind of like tell them like, hey, how do you want to celebrate your love?
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, how can people get in touch with you?
So I'm a wedding photographer in Phoenix, Arizona, and my website is fearlesselopement.com. I do traditional weddings and elopement as well.
And can people fly you around the country? Do you travel?
Oh, yeah. So, and essentially I do travel like anywhere around the world. I've been to Yosemite, Tennessee, did wedding in Chicago, like Washington State, Colorado, Utah. So like anywhere, to be honest with you. So if you love travel, let's take in touch.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. So for anybody, when you're thinking about what love means to you, if having a photographer, and I can tell you a photographer is so important on the wedding day, having a photographer that's going to ask you, what is love? What does love mean to you? And how can we create a celebration of that? Definitely check out Sam's website. It's really, really pretty. It's got beautiful, really just good energy photos. So definitely. And now I understand why. Now those photographs are not by accident. You've created that. And I just want to say props to that.
Yep. Just driven from their unique story,
Absolutely. Well, everyone, thank you so much for listening to this. This has been another edition of the Love Launch podcast. And I like to say that two people come together and finding love, despite the chaos of the world, that is a triumph of the human spirit. And we're hoping to contribute that in some way through these podcasts. If you have questions, please let us know. You can sign up for my purpose-based relationship program. Just a couple of emails, and we'll just walk you through like what it means to be you in a relationship. That's it. All the show notes are all details in the show notes. Sam, again, thank you so much. Any last words?
No, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you to everybody. You have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you next time on the Love Launch podcast.